Conversations on the Rocks, the podcast where the drink is strong and the stories are stronger. I'm your host, Kristen Dokas, and this isn't your average chat fest. Here, real people spill the tea alongside their favorite drinks, from the hilarious to the heart-wrenching. Each episode, a wild card. You'll laugh, you may cry, but you'll definitely learn something new. So grab whatever wets your whistle and buckle up. It's time to dive into the raw, the real, and the ridiculously human. Let's get this chat party started. Hey everybody, it's Kristen, and today I am talking to my good friend Suzanne Vaughan. Suzanne's in the house. Everybody
Hello.
Clap, clap,
Hello.
clap, clap, clap. And for those of you that are not watching this, you definitely are going to feel missed out because we're very animated people. So, I made Suzanne give me her bio. Look at her. She's like magenta. I made Suzanne give me her bio, but I'm really not going to read that. But I will tell you a few things about Suzanne from my point of view. First of all, not many people know this, but Suzanne predicted the pandemic.
I did.
Yeah, she did. You want to tell us how you predicted the pandemic?
Well, part of it was just because of what I was seeing at work. I had just started back at a job that I worked at, and the company sells packaging, janitorial, and safety supplies. So the first thing that happens, it's like late January, it was like within the first 2 weeks that I'd gone back, we start getting calls for face masks. Like, and not just like our usual customers that use them when they're in manufacturing. I'm talking like, well, one was a manufacturer, but they wanted like full cases of like 500 for their overseas locations. And I'm like, here we go. We're going to have a pandemic. Then it just picked up because it was first it was the masks. Then it was the Purell. Then it was the gloves. Right. And then it was the soap. Yeah. Toilet paper didn't come till way later.
I know. But you dispensed that toilet paper like it was a Pez dispenser. I think I still have some pandemic toilet paper in my downstairs bathroom. Every time I open it, I'm like,
not the best, so you got to save it.
Right? I mean, it's truly like end of the world apocalypse toilet paper. Mm-hmm. And luckily
it'll do the job.
It'll do the job. It'll feel good. You'll be feeling it for a while. So,
right?
But
get your lotion.
Get your lotion. Get some aloe. Witch hazel. Witch hazel's really good for that stuff, folks.
I know.
Witch hazel is the best. So yeah, so that's
things I'm learning as I'm getting older.
That was one of the fun facts about Suzanne. Suzanne is also a incredible light designer, and she however, what I don't like about Suzanne and her light designing is that sometimes it takes her away from social settings because she's overpeopled.
Now, work at night.
Totally get the overpeopled thing. You and I are sisters in that because, you can tell if we're in something together that both of us, like, you can see it, like, coming down, like, literally coming down like a curtain.
The battery is like...
Cassie bought me I have to show it to you the next time I see you. She bought me this pen that's on my backpack, and it says my social battery level, and it has a little slider, so it goes from like green to red.
I love that. I need one of those.
My social battery is empty. I have one. And then she got me a sticker too. It's on my laptop. But yeah, sometimes we just hysterical. We can't people as much as we want to. So
yeah, it's true.
So let's talk a little bit about what you're doing now that you are. How did you put it? You put it. I'm looking at her notes because she put where is it? Where is it? Oh, Dad,
I don't know.
Gummit. Untethered. She's untethered now, friends.
Untethered.
She is untethered.
Yes.
That is the most eloquent way I've ever heard of saying I'm early retired. Which is what I
wish I could say that.
But go with it. Why can't you say that?
Right. We call it fun employed. It's gig life, but it's
Oh, who's that?
It's a dog butt that's Leia.
Nice.
There will be visits. She's mad that I'm talking at somebody that's not her.
Yeah. I left my door open, so anything could happen here too.
Right. I mean, that's the fun part of it though, right? So I left the job 2 days before my mom passed away because I was leaving the job to take care of her because she had gotten to that point where she needed full-time care. Yeah, and then she passed away like 2 days. So, like, all the stress and all the things and the 100 miles an hour that I was going through for like 7 years was done. So, untethered.
How's it
'Cause
feel?
it was like, what would I do now? Oh, man. I hope that I never have to sit at a desk for a long period, like 8 hours. Like, you're going to sit in this cubicle for 8 hours. I can't.
You know, and it's so interesting because I thought one of the greatest things that came out of COVID was these boomer males that we actually proved to them that you don't have, it's like that butt and seat mentality is insane. And
well, that's what I was dealing with the whole time over there. I'm like, you guys and my staff, because I was a manager, like, they can work from home. We have the phone systems. We have all of that. Look at technology. It's a wonderful thing. Let's make use of it.
But unless they can actually count heads and butts in seat, you're not doing... I mean, I get more work done from home than I have been pretty much either strictly working from home or a hybrid for the past 17 years.
My brother's been the same way. He's been working for... Because that's what I kept telling him. I was like, I know people that have been working from home for, like, decades. It's not new.
No, it's
new
not.
To you. Right. And technology is just getting better. So it's just improving being able to work from home.
But it also takes a special person to be able to work from home because, you know, before COVID, you know, I would tell people that I was working from home. Like, oh my God, I could never do that. I would be so distracted from, I'm like, I actually get in a zone. And they're like, oh, I want to get up and go and do laundry. I'm like, who the hell wants to do laundry? Why are you going to be doing laundry?
Everyone wants to do laundry.
What? Really? But I get in my zone. And like, before I went back to working for myself, it was more of a hybrid. So I would go into the office one day a week and I got nothing done that day. It was guaranteed that day in the office, nothing got done. Absolutely nothing.
They want to have 15 meetings about nothing.
Or just chit-chat.
Or just chit-chat. Like, hey, how you been? Yeah.
Did you watch?
Hey, while you're here.
Did you watch such and such last night? No.
Yeah, I used to get it. And again, part of it was because I was a manager. And so I had new people coming and going. You know, there was some changeover while I was there, which is unusual there. But, of course, there was a pandemic, so everything changes. And, yeah, they'd come at Suzanne. So I never got, like, everything that I wanted done in that day. Done. Ever.
If people don't have kids and you are in that situation, you get a really fast idea of what being a mom's like.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Mom.
I seriously, I know. That was, like, for those 3 years, I was a mom. And I just was like, because some of the kids actually could have been my children. Yeah. You know, they were like early 20s. And I'd just be like, and they were great kids. I mean, I had great staff members. Like, I don't want to say anything negative about them as people or their work ethics because I really did have a great staff. However, I couldn't get anything done.
Well, and, you know, speaking of that, I think it's kind of cool too. And I think this is a big, big struggle for boomers. Is that younger millennials and definitely Gen Z are kind of turning everything upside down on the concept of work, right? And I saw something come across a few months ago. It was called, was it Lazy Girl Work? And I didn't like the moniker, but I loved the concept. I'm like, can we take a good concept and not smack a cute little moniker on it? Like, you know, girl boss, lazy girl work. And it was the whole... You go in, you do your job, and you leave. Whereas our generation, we were, and especially the boomers, like I remember, you know, my stepdad, he was like at work from 7 a.m. until 5 p.m. And I'm like, I don't want, it's like even now at my age, you know, it's like I have the perfect amount of clients that keep me busy, that pay my bills. Yeah. And could I take on more clients? Absolutely. Do I want to? Maybe, but I don't want to work that hard. I'm 50. I'm 55.
No,
I do not. I'm done. I
turned the big 50 this year.
I know. O's and fives. O's and fives.
O's and fives.
That'll be a big August then.
It is. It is going to be a very big, hot.
All right. So, anyways, we were talking about corporate. We don't need to talk about corporate.
Yes.
No more corporate. So, what are you?
No more.
What corporate. Are you doing now in our local theater scene?
Okay. Like, how do I make some money so that I don't lose my house?
Well, there's plenty of ways to do that.
Right. So currently, I'm getting more contacts because I'm the resident lighting designer at Theater Alliance, downtown Winston. I've designed some at the little. I designed a show at Little Theater back in January. I did February.
Early this year.
February because it was like week of Tech Week. And then I work with Spirit Gum. I work with Salem Academy now. So that's a new one. Yeah, so they are doing, and that's what I just started today. They are doing Beauty and the Beast.
Aww.
I know, and it opens on the 18th for one weekend. But I'm designing both the lights and the set. So, and a lot of people don't know that I do set design because I usually don't. I think the last one I did was Murder on the Nile over at Stained Glass pre-pandemic, probably like 17 or 18. Yeah, 19, I don't know. So I've got that going on. Today I painted the stage. I've got a install for the new theater, because Theater Alliance is adding 2 new stages. So the Beale Theater upstairs is a smaller black box, so I'm doing the installation of the lights up there. And then I have to light Jersey Boys, which goes up next Friday over at Theater Alliance. So I've got 3 projects going on right now. I took last week off because I had like 6 in a row.
Bless you. That's that's why we were able to see you. She actually took some time off.
Right, exactly. Yeah. There was one Friday, and I was like, I have 4 shows up right now, like all lighting design. Like, so I was like on call in case something happened for all theaters. Lexington Live also. I got to give them.
You're an inspiration to me in the sense that I've always said that I could never retire. I would be too bored, but man, you definitely pack your days. You really do. You're very involved, and that's just your theater stuff. That's not your advocacy stuff and things of that nature.
Right.
So, and fun fact: before I met you, and every time that picture comes up, I have to share that because it's my favorite picture ever, which was during Pride, when your first foray is Magenta in Rocky Horror, and I was down there, and I've told you the story like every time.
But I was like, I don't remember that picture though.
I'll have to send it to you again. Maybe,
because I forgot.
Maybe I'll include it in this.
Shut up! You could do like a little.
I
cut.
know, right? So I was down there with Sydney and all of her friends. It was her first Pride. Oh, and so that must have been, she must have been like 12. So you're talking 10 years ago. And that was before I even knew you. And I was going through it. I'm like, oh my God, that's Suzanne. Because you were on the float.
When my body was peak.
You're on the Rocky Horror float. Mm-hmm. And again, apologies that I was not able to make this last. I can't remember why I couldn't come to Rocky this year. I think it was, I don't know if I was out of town or something. There was some kind of conflict that when T asked, I was like, oh, I can't go.
We got a really good set of audiences this year. It was really fun.
It was always a good show.
Yeah.
So you had a bit of so last year when your mom passed, which we've had conversations about that because your mom and my dad suffered
unexpected caregivers.
Yeah, exactly.
Similar.
I'm telling you, you still have to plop you on Confessions, the Confessions show.
I would love to chat with them.
Yeah, so and the show's great. And actually this month we're featuring it's all male caregivers, which are very, very uncommon.
Yeah, it falls to the
Absolutely.
women. For sure. And my brother is actually a better caregiver than I am.
And a lot of them are.
It's more natural. Yeah, because for me it was not natural. But yeah, he's definitely like, Mom would tell me all the time like what he did for her when he was down, when she was down with him for the week or whatever. And I'm like, he's so much better at this than I am.
But do you think,
he's so much more
is it really that, or is you lived with y'all lived together. Your brother didn't live there. So I think there's a big difference. When you're in it 24/7, it's, again, it's kind of going back to like parenting. It's like, I like to think I was a good parent, but my God, when you're with these people 24/7 and it all is like need. And again, we're not saying anything, don't anybody come at us because I did it for my dad for a year. It's a lot.
Exactly.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And the only people that understand that it's a lot are other caregivers. Absolutely. If you've not been in it, you just don't know. And there's no real way to say, this is what it's like, because
every case is different.
Every case is different. Some people have it a lot harder than I did as far as mobility and the level of care.
And the benefits.
And the benefits.
I was blessed in the fact that Daddy was part of the VA system. So much of that was taken care of. I can't imagine had we had to deal with the regular, the god-awful health insurance as we know it for, non-veterans. Yeah. You can't. And the things that are, unless you've done it, you just can't even comprehend it. And there's no training. There's no forewarning. No. It's just like, here's a frying pan, you're the bacon, and bam, there you are.
Yep.
Sizzle.
There you
go. And
exactly.
But then you took, I was so tickled, and I was proud of you, for lack of a better phrase, your little sabbatical. You just popped those puppies into the car and you went off.
And left. Yeah. Because I hadn't had actually I traveled a lot last year because I did go to Cancun last May.
Ooh, I'm going at the end of April.
Oh my God, you're going to have so much fun. We got to talk about that, like where you're staying and all that stuff. But yeah, so after that, I was like, you know what? For my birthday, I'm leaving town. I have not left this house. I mean, I did get again, but I have not left anything behind like that, like really been able to vacate, because Cancun was rare. Like Cancun was a 1 out of 6 or 7 years, so, because the other vacations were beach vacations with her. So it's still,
So you're still working.
And
again.
Right, still working.
Again, like a parent. I wrote an article, a blog article years ago called Moms Never Get a Vacation. Because you don't. You just transfer your duties from Winston to a place with sand. And then you got to deal with the sand.
Right.
And sand's everywhere.
Yeah. You got to watch them run around and,
okay.
all day.
So where'd you go?
Not even going to school.
I know. Where'd you go?
So my first stop actually was, I stopped in West Virginia for a hot second. I was looking for this. So I used Road Trippers and Atlas Obscura, and there's another one for all the weird places to stop. And there was a old old fair that was dilapidated, but I couldn't get into it because I could see some of it from the road, and it was way in this am I going to die trying to get around this corner? I mean, it was mountains and narrow roads. And then I went to the Night of the Living Dead, where they filmed that, the cemetery they filmed that in. I think that was actually in Pennsylvania by that point. I don't know. It's a blur. That was really cool. I have a ton of pictures from that. I love a cemetery. Pittsburgh was next. Stayed there for a couple days. I had a friend.
Pittsburgh great.
Oh my God. And I had such a great little space, all these gorgeous old houses around me, and it's actually kind of near the stadium, so I can't remember what side they called it, but it was near Randyville.
Yeah. Oh my God, did you go to Randyville?
I did.
Randyville's amazing.
And I only went for a hot minute. I was just taking some pictures on my way out of town, and so the dogs were in the car. And they're barking a little bit because Mommy didn't let them out, because Mommy had just put them in. And so this lady comes down from her apartment. It's you really shouldn't do that. I was I'm literally here 5 minutes. You can't handle a dog barking for 5 minutes. It's not 5 a.m.
Right.
I know you're in your nightgown, and that's fine, because I don't care. But it wasn't so bad that it was just, I'm you don't need to come down to the car as I'm trying to exit.
Trying to go to Randyville, lady.
Yeah, trying to leave Randyville. I was done. Yeah, it was. And bless, I get it. We all have our moments, but it's also it's not that big a deal.
So apparently, and I don't fly into Pittsburgh, I always drive. Apparently, you can see Randyville from the sky in a plane.
Oh, that breaks my heart. So happy.
I know.
I loved it. I have so many pictures from that.
We took, I absolutely love it. And okay, so there's your plug, people. If you're in Pittsburgh, find Randyville. And I was only staying 3 blocks from there. That's the area of town. That's a great time. Also in that area, if you go back, there's this really cool museum called the Mattress Factory. It's not a mattress store. It's a mattress factory. Right. It is so eclectic. And they always have these different installations. But one of them is there forever. It's you go up, and it's it's a dollhouse, birdhouse kind of thing. So you go up these stairs, and there's all these little miniature things, and look it up. It's called the Mattress Factory. It is so cool. Okay. And it's just one of those little eclectic things.
I love a good
and
museum.
It is right there where Randyville is. Just so that's one of the great things about Pittsburgh. It's you're just there, and all of a sudden you look around, and you're well, damn, what's that?
It was really cool. So I loved walking them in the neighborhood and looking around in the several times a day, because I stayed in Airbnbs a lot.
Excuse me as I die.
I know. Don't
I got so excited I choked on my own spit. Was that the first time you'd ever been to Pittsburgh?
Yes.
So,
I have a friend that lives there.
So were
now.
you completely blown away at how hilly it was?
Oh my God, yes. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Stella wants to go out, so I'm going to carry you.
Okay.
We're going to walk a little bit around the house.
We're taking a trip, y'all.
We're taking a trip, and there's also
if you're only
a
listening to
in the middle
this,
of my living
you
room.
can't see this. So now we get a tour of Suzanne's house.
The chaos. Yeah, the chaos that is my house. So also, I got a new mattress, but it was one of those bed in a bag ones. Yeah, there's a big story behind that. So my mattress, and so it has to fluff, for 24 hours. It has to expand. So
it has to breathe.
It has to breathe, and so my mattress is now in the living room. So it's like,
oh, is that why it's?
yeah. So that's why it is. And the other thing is that it was free. So yeah, there's a story behind that. I'll let her out. She'll probably bark later, but
that's all right.
Stella likes to survey her land.
Baxton just sauntered in here and jumped up into the recliner, of which you can't see him because he's brindle, and it was my dad's recliner, which is dark brown, so it's like camouflage.
Yeah.
He's like, you can't see me.
So I'm balancing. I'm on my mattress. And now I have to buy, like, the deep pocket.
Oh, yeah.
Fitted sheet, so I'll be in here again tonight.
Salvation Army over on University.
Yeah?
Or the no. I'm sorry, not Salvation. Habitat Restore.
Okay.
They sell brand new sheets. Yeah, like $15 for king size with deep pockets.
Wow.
I don't care where I buy them from. Sheets are expensive, yo.
No, as long as they're new, and I don't even need I just need the fitted sheet. Because a regular sheet's fine. Usually.
Are you one of those no top sheet people?
No, I'm a top sheet girl.
Because that's a thing.
It is. I know. I have friends that have that, and I'm like, I can't do that because then your comforter gets nasty.
Yeah.
And the comforter's the harder thing to wash.
And I have a weighted blanket. I don't want that. No, I need that. I need that, like that saran wrap in between.
Yes.
I need that layer.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, anyways, you went to Pittsburgh, and then you went to Niagara Falls, didn't you?
Yes. And I also visited a couple. I went to Falling Water, Frank Lloyd Wright. Mm-hmm. So I did some of those. Tried to, which ones I could. And then I went and drove up to Niagara Falls, and I stopped along the way at some, like the lake, as started coming across them. Now she's barking, of course she is. So I did do that, and, the dogs and I would take little hikes here and there, and we stayed on the Canadian side of Niagara Falls. Nice. Yeah. So I did cross the border. I had gotten them their little papers, for travel. Stayed at a little Airbnb, like tiny home, like a little cabin kind of thing, just one room for 2 nights there. Because, it gets tiring after a while. So since I was doing it very loosey-goosey, I didn't make a lot of reservations ahead of time, which has its downfalls because it costs more. But
it does, but I've gotten more screwed over by being overly prepared. Like when we moved Cassie out to Idaho, really? So I did is I had certain, obviously 2,300 miles, you have to plan it.
Right, yeah.
But I would do is I had ideas of where I wanted to stay because I wanted to do the whole Schitt's Creek thing and stay in, motels. Yeah, no, but they were so cute. The one we stayed at in Cody was amazing. So now that's my thing.
Really?
Wherever we go, I'm looking for motels. But what did you get from all that? What was did you have any epiphanies and aha moments? And was that kind of when you said, I'm never working for the man again? And when we say the man, we don't mean man. Yeah. We mean corporate.
Right. Corporate America.
But we also mean the man.
We do. Yes, I did. But not really at that point. It was just more, that one was more of a, what am I going to do next? I don't know. So I'm going to do this for a couple weeks, kind of thing. I don't know if that makes sense.
You hit your reset button.
I did. Because I didn't have a show for a little while. I had a bit of money saved up. So, yeah. And so it was really just I have not been anywhere. There's a lot. I love to travel. I hadn't gotten to do it. There are a lot of places I've never been to, like Pittsburgh and Niagara Falls. And
I haven't been to Niagara Falls either.
Rural New York.
I haven't either.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
It is pretty.
But the Canadian side is very Myrtle Beach. Like, people had told me that.
Really?
It's very, like, yeah. Because then there was, like, an island on the New York side. It's like Goat Island, or I don't know. I'd have to look it up what it was called. People up there will know. Where you can see kind of the side of it, and there's all this other stuff. And it was beautiful. And it was very, like, a big park, you know. You have to cross a little bridge over it, drive over it to it. Yeah, I'd have to look it up. I'm terrible with remembering that stuff.
Minnow brain.
So... Yeah. But yeah, so I did that, and it was much more chill. It's much more chill on the American side.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know.
That
right?
is really interesting, because I would have thought it'd been the other way around.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. I think might be why is because I did the boat thing, where you're out on the boat. Did you get the
poncho?
Yeah, you have to have a poncho. Whew. Yeah, soaked. It was great. It was hilarious to watch people, too. Like, that, for me, I love to just watch people in these, chat with somebody for a few minutes here and there. But, yeah, all of that launches from the Canadian side because the view is better. Like, the stuff that you see in all the pictures of the falls themselves, it's better on the Canadian side. So that's why it's more like, if you want to walk down and do all that stuff, most of that's on the American side.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely want to get up. I figured out after moving Cassie out to Idaho this summer that there are only 3 states in the United States that I have not been to.
Of the lower 48 or of all 50?
All 50. So I haven't been to Hawaii, Alaska, and North Dakota. We were in South Dakota, but we didn't go to North Dakota. But every other state I have either been in, through... not over, because that would be cheating, but yeah.
That is cheating.
Yeah,
but yeah,
cheating.
like if you drive through it or stay there, it counts.
And
I say.
So I have to put that in my plus column because my passport's only been punched once, and that was down in Punta Cana. Was it Punta Cana I got punched? Or Southern Caribbean? I don't know. But I'm going to Cancun at the end of the month.
Yes, you get another punch. Yeah, that was my third one. Well, I had to get a new one.
And I'm going to Greece for 10 days. A 10-day cruise in Greece.
Oh, when are you going?
September.
Oh my God, that's going to be great.
I can't wait.
It's going to be so...
I am going to pop my American traveling cherry. I wish I had, I have all the excuses in the world, but it's, well, first of all, I couldn't take the kids because traveling with a family of 5, going to Myrtle Beach cost an arm and a leg. But imagine, it's...
no, impossible. I don't know how people do it. They got a lot of money.
Either.
They're in finance. That's the only thing I think of. They've got to be in
finance.
Yeah.
It was only through the extreme generosity and graciousness of my mom that we took the few cruises that we did when the girls were little. So, I'm grateful for that. Yeah, and they're supposed to go, but now it's like the reality of adulting is really setting in for them because I keep going, you guys, that's 2 weeks. Like, a full 2 weeks because you need to get there a couple of days before. Then the cruise is 10 days. Yes. I was like, y'all, I've got one that's a server, right? And then I've got another one that's in fast food management, and then the other one who is at the hotel. But still, that's your entire, because you work for corporations, you ain't making, well, 2 of them have vacation time, right? But the third one, you don't work, you don't make money. That's the nature of the business. Right. So I have a feeling that they're probably not going to go, which is kind of, but at the same time.
But they're also early. We didn't get to do that stuff. I didn't get to do that stuff early 20s.
No.
Like once I left college, it was
work.
Like mom paid for college. Yeah. And so I had to find a job. I had to find my own, I was on my own. Yep. Like that was the deal. So.
Yeah, I had to have say one of the things that I hated saying to one of my kids this here recently of the when I was your age. I did.
Some podcasts sound old, weather-beaten, and dull. Now, there's a podcast called Wheeler's Dog. Made with space-age polymers, Wheeler's Dog podcast requires no rubbing, no buffing. It is a humor podcast that restores the luster, makes the ears refreshed again. We ran the Wheeler's Dog podcast through 50 consecutive car washes. Despite all the scrubbing, the harsh detergents, and steam, the Wheeler's Dog podcast retained its glow. Get the Wheeler's Dog podcast wherever you get podcasts.
was like, dude, when I was your age, I was living in Chicago. I was in my early 20s. I worked a full-time day job, and I bartended 4 nights a week. You got no excuse. You ain't got no money.
Yep.
You need to get your broke ass a second job.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
And that was in 1990.
I'm going to have to, and I'm still going to have to, they're playing now, figure out more income. Like, I'm going to have to DoorDash or do this. You know, it's gig life. Gig life, you never know. Like, and it's not like community, because it is community theater, it is nonprofit. You just don't make as much as a for-profit.
So,
and that's okay. Like, I'm not, I get it, but so I have to have. It's not supporting me by itself.
So I have an idea for you, and going back to my sisters from Confessions, right? So I learned so much from JJ and Natalie, and one of the things that I recently learned editing their podcast is about the certain Medicaid and Medicare benefits.
Yeah,
have transportation. So like if you need to get to the doctor, right, they have a certain amount in there that they're like, okay, we'll pay you $100 to. So one of their other sisters, that's what she does. She transports people to their doctor's appointments, and because the insurance is paying for it, it's easy. And it's during the day. You've got a big enough car.
Driving people.
You could totally fit at least 3 people in your car.
I can fit 3 people,
and if each of them is paying you $100, that's $300 a trip.
I could totally do it.
Look into it.
That would be great.
Say, I want to be the driver.
Like me, I'm a good driver. Daddy lets me drive around the.
So as we were saying, this whole conversation thing is totally like 2 friends hanging out, which we are, having a cocktail. What are you drinking?
I am drinking this. Oh, I'm alternating. I've got this from the Trader Joe.
Trader Joe's got some good wine, yo.
Yes, it does. It is one of the ones that gives me the sweats with the sulfates, but not bad because it's a blend. Right. But it's worth it. It tastes good. And I'm also drinking, I call it flavored water because it has the little squirties.
Oh, okay.
You know, I squirt the flavor
I'm a
in
lemon girl.
I'm alternating between the two because I did a lot of sweating today.
Okay.
It was very hot.
It was warm. I walked out of the Harris Teeter today, and I was like, "Whoa!" I wasn't expecting it to be this. Like, being out in it, you don't realize it yet, but then you go into like the ice box that Harris Teeter is, and then you come outside, and you're like, "Whoa!" And
you're like,
"It's a lot more humid than I was expecting." I'm not ready for this. Which is a good thing, I guess, because apparently it's going to take a nosedive tomorrow and for the next few days. So, yeah, if we could just...
That's probably why my knee hurts bad today.
Probably. If we could just keep it around that mid-70s here in North Carolina, but no.
I mean, if we can have a decent spring,
right?
I don't mind a couple off 80-degree days like we've had, but if we can have a mostly decent spring,
so we can open the windows,
air
out winter.
I had them open for 4 days, right? And then it was too muggy in here, and
my air kicked on. Because I've got a Nest and I have it programmed, and it's programmed. But it's programmed for the air not to come on until it hits 76 in my house. And I was sitting there working. All of a sudden, I'm like, why is that? No way. It's not 76 degrees up in here. It was 76 degrees in here.
Yeah.
So what's next for you, Suzanne? We're going to wrap this baby up. Yeah.
Is it already?
Yeah, we've been chatting for 35 minutes, and I we could talk here all night long, but then people would be like,
talk as long as you want. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, if there's something else you want to cover, and you can edit and pick and choose.
That's right.
I don't know what's next. Because originally I was like, okay, I'm going to go work. I want to go work at Universal, Disney, or whatever, as a lighting tech, or I want to go here, I want to go there, and I am now like, okay, I need to wait a year after the death before I make major decisions.
Absolutely.
So I'm working on the purge of all the things and minimalism.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. Let's talk because I think that's really cool that you're doing it. And I'm trying to do the same thing too. I'm not being as methodical about it as you are, because for me, part of that would involve going through the kids' stuff. And when I say the kids' stuff, I mean literally the kids' stuff, because they came home at Christmas. I'm like, go upstairs, go through your closets. And so at this point, we're looking at 4.5 years for Sydney, Cassie almost a year. I'm like, if y'all haven't, then you probably don't need it. Because I am not going to move. I am not going to move and have to get a storage unit to store my kids' stuff that they don't even remember what it is. I'm not going to do it. No.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of like, I mean, cleaning out mom's house, and then like my brother got some of the stuff, but a lot of it came here, and then some, you know, we did throw out whatever. But it was like 43 years. She was a little bit of a squirrel. I like that better than pack rat. Little squirrel putting her little nuts away for the winter. Squirreling things away. So yeah, now it's in my house. So, and I'm not saying I'm not a squirrel either. And we all have junk drawers, right?
Absolutely.
So I have a junk drawer. I have a Monica closet, you know, from Friends. Do you remember that episode? Did you watch? And it's like, so I have a Monica closet. And then, well, now more. It used to just be the one and the one, and then it grew and grew and grew. You know, I've been here 15 years, so that plus her, you know, it just equates a lot of things that I don't need. Some of it I haven't looked at since I moved it into the house from mom's house.
And that's the number one reason why I'm probably not selling this house anytime soon, because anytime I start thinking about selling the house and moving someplace, which is probably about every 60 days, then I remember how much crap I have here after living here for 16 years, and I go, I'm too lazy.
Yeah, I do the minimalist challenge.
But
it's so great.
You
so
did
great.
the maximum minimalist challenge.
No, I mean it's actual challenge because there's an actual there's
like
actually
for
a
30
documentary
days,
on
right?
Netflix. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't make it up. It was somebody else. But so yeah, and I didn't do it every day. Like I knew I got my math equation. I had forgotten it because who remembers algebra unless you do it every day. So I got my math professor friend to remind me of the equation so I would know what my grand total would be. So I usually just did it on the weekends. Or I'd look at a drawer as I was like cooking dinner or whatever, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna clean this out. Boom. You know, and so I would just keep a running total. And now I have a new free mattress. So you got to let things go so you can make room for new things.
Absolutely. And how did you get your free mattress? Let's talk about that before we sign off.
Okay, yeah, that's a, so one of my very dearest friends has a neighbor, the Beagles are going to town, and they, here we go, her neighbor, I guess, works for foundations, I don't know, she gets stuff from nonprofit, whatever, I don't really understand what it is, but anyway, sometimes it's mattresses. And it's like she also was very kind and gave me like a box of like, it had toilet paper in it, it had Bounty paper towels, it had a Gillette razor, it had, you know, so it's all these like things that are used as samples or whatever, I think probably, or overruns or whatever that just needs to be donated by the corporation, you know, because it is either an old style or like whatever. I don't even know, you know, but there is a lot of stuff. I don't know if you've ever, it becomes a lot of stuff. So yeah, that's how her neighbor got another thing of mattress, and there was one queen size left, and they brought it over yesterday in the box. And I wish I had figured out what I was going to do before the boys had left. The boys are now like, I mean, they're super tall, 18 and 21 or something like that, 17 and 6 junior, and then a junior in high school, senior in college.
Oh my!
Because big strong boys. Did have no sense they were the wee babies, and so they carried it in. But I didn't even think about it. So you should have seen me, girl. When I was like, no, I'm going to set it on I was actually going to put it in the living room to blow up, and then I was like, no, because the dogs will be roughhousing as they are now on this one. You should have seen me try and get my old mattress off and slide it down.
Those things are, you know, you don't...
They're very heavy, and they don't have handles.
No. Why?
I don't get it. I'm like,
I remember the times when they actually had handles on the side.
They actually had handles on them, yeah. Like, I just need one on each side. Just enough to be able to grip it well enough.
Right.
It was hilarious. I was laughing, which, of course, doesn't help the, like, let's lift this up and move it. No,
it doesn't. Everybody's like, then everybody gets all, like, annoyed because you're laughing and you're like, come on, get serious because we need to move this, and like, I don't have all day. It's like, yeah, you do.
Well, it was just me though because they'd already left.
Yeah, my mattress was, I wish if you were watching this you could see this, but you're not watching it.
This is my Mo, baby.
This is actually pup vision right now. You have what, 3 dogs now?
I have 3. I have 2 beagles. That's the Plunder twins. And they are oh God, they bonded. They are so bonded. They didn't come together. Leia actually humps. She's the girl, but it's for domination,
Absolutely. This is my house.
She'll try, and even though Moby was first, but Moby's much more passive. Like, he doesn't care about being the top dog. But yeah, they like to play. And then I have Stella. She is going to be 13 this year in September.
Wow. Those senior dogs are special. Josie, I think, will be 11 this year. 11. It's either 11, we've had her this year, or she'll be 12. I can't.
It's hard to,
Yeah,
I got her during a show called Little Dog Laughed that I was in during Tech Week, because my friend was like, come on, it was a stray, you need to take it, and my other friends had paid for the vet bills, and I'm like, because he knew I wanted, I have a big yard.
You do have a big yard. That's a happy dog. That's a happy dog.
Yeah.
I wish. Yeah. I think you sit on an acre and I sit on an acre, and I wish my house were positioned more like yours, because mine's like right smack dab in the middle. So I've got like all that in the front. And I'm like, nobody goes in the front yard.
You've got that ginormous hill.
Exactly.
Right.
Which is why I have to hire a yard person, because nobody needs to. Nobody needs to die mowing the grass.
No.
Yeah, I know.
You put some covering on it and just don't ever go on the front yard.
Although in my neighborhood, I probably could do that, but I do want to sell here soon, so probably get somebody to be like, no,
because a lot of people don't like ground cover. Yeah. What is happening? I must have touched something with my...
She touched something. Okay. Yeah. Any last thoughts? Thoughts? What are thoughts? Thoughts? We fought this war.
Hold on. Hold on.
Suzanne has lost communication.
Oh my God. So the Apple Music came on. So I don't know how, because again, maybe it was my boob, but yeah, so I thought I'd closed out all the windows, and then all of a sudden I hear, incoming! Oh,
and what was it?
It was the song. Yeah, it was, what song was it? I can't find it now because it moved to a different one. But yeah, I think it was a yeah, I can't remember.
Oh wow, Minnow Brain. That's my excuse for everything now. Minnow Brain.
Yeah, Minnow Brain.
Minnow Brain.
Perry.
All right. Well, thank you, my dear, for I'm going to hit stop recording here shortly. But thank you for spending some time with me, and I pray to God that this actually works, but I won't know that. I'm not even going to look at it tonight because, and for those of you that may not know,
too much too soon.
4 years I've been on hiatus, and I finally realized that I was just being lazy. That was it. Because I have so many great people in my life. And there's people out there that I don't know that I want to talk to that have great stories to share. So this is how it goes.
And I actually want to do a podcast.
You need to do a podcast.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do, but yeah.
Well, whenever,
so this was good practice for me to kind of
are ready, I am a much better leader and teacher than necessarily a student. So, I will help make that a much easier process for you when you're ready. But I think you absolutely should, because you're dynamic. You've got great stories, and you could.
I do have cute headphones too.
Yes, I know,
and I can get me a little microphone.
I just had to do it. I just was like, but it was only like a $70 microphone, so not expensive.
They're not bad.
You know this stuff.
They're not bad.
So between sound and lighting. So anyhow, I appreciate you taking the time to ramble with me, because that's what this was. This was a rambling thing, and I
was hoping that's kind of what you like. Because based on the title of your podcast, that's how we do when we hang out anyway.
That's right.
It's just rambles and segues, and especially with me, you have to kind of like ask me a question to like get me back on track.
I know, and I'm the same way. And then not only that, we forget what the hell we were talking about mid sentence. We could be giving you like this really, really important thing, and all of a sudden we'd be like,
it'll just stop. What? Like, what is that?
Minnow brain.
How does that?
Minnow brain. Mm-hmm. Minnow brain.
You're not wrong.
I know. I usually am not. So say goodbye, Suze.
Bye, Suze.
And I'm going to hit stop record now, and then till next time, everybody.
Thank you for having me.
We will.
I appreciate you.
Have a conversations on the rocks. As the saying goes, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And that's a wrap for this week's episode. A big thanks to my guests for sharing their story and to you for listening. Don't forget to share the show with your friends and spread the words. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, the link is in the show notes. Till next time, cheers.